courtroom doors open today, and with them comes the weight of hidden secrets, painful lies, and a family under the harshest spotlight of their lives. The world is watching as the Emmanuel Haro case reaches a new turning point, one that could finally shatter the silence or deepen the mystery. For weeks, investigators have unearthed disturbing evidence and uncovered shocking items hidden within the Harrow home. Each discovery raised more questions than answers, leaving the public desperate for clarity. And just last night, in a twist no one expected, Rebecca Haro broke her silence, releasing a statement about Jake that has shaken this case to its core. At the heart of it all is baby Emmanuel, the innocent child whose disappearance has ignited anger, heartbreak, and suspicion. His fate remains the question that no one can escape, the truth that demands to be revealed. Today is not just another day in court. Every word spoken, every glance exchanged, and every piece of evidence presented could decide the future of this family and the justice Emmanuel deserves. These are the 5 things to look forward to in the courtroom today. Before we continue, I want to hear from you. Do you believe Rebecca Haro's statement is the truth? Or is it a desperate attempt to save herself? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to follow every twist and turn of this case as it unfolds in real time, make sure you subscribe now so you don't miss the next revelation inside the courtroom. The first thing the courtroom will be waiting to hear is Rebecca Haro's statement. Just hours before this trial, she broke her silence and placed the spotlight directly on Jake. Her words were not vague. They were sharp, emotional, and filled with accusations that could forever alter the direction of this case. But here lies the tension. How much weight will the court give to her testimony? Will her words stand as truth, or will they be picked apart and exposed as contradictions under cross-examination? Rebecca's statement may be the weapon that brings clarity, or it may unravel under pressure, leaving her credibility in question. For many, this is not just about evidence, it's about emotion, the trembling voice of a mother, the tears that blur her vision as she recalls events no parent should ever endure. But beyond the emotion lies a deeper question the court cannot ignore. Is this the full truth, or a desperate attempt to protect herself from the shadows closing in? Her statement could be the spark that ignites justice for Emmanuel, or the flame that consumes her own defense. And as the judge and jury listen, every syllable, every pause, and every detail of her account will be weighed with the gravity of life and death. The second thing to watch inside the courtroom today is Jake Haro's defense strategy. For weeks, Jake has remained silent, guarded, and unmoved in the face of mounting accusations. But silence itself can only last so long. In this trial, every moment of silence, every refusal to answer, will speak volumes. The question is, what path will his defense take? Will his legal team attempt to dismantle Rebecca's statement, painting her as unreliable, emotional, or even manipulative? Or will they shift the narrative entirely, directing suspicion away from Jake and toward another hidden angle of this case? Jake's defense may rely on cold logic, on technicalities, or on highlighting gaps in the evidence. But one misstep, one contradiction, could cost him everything. For some, he is a father fighting for his reputation. For others, he is the man holding the deepest secrets about baby Emmanuel's fate. Today, the world will watch closely. Will Jake finally break his silence with a defense that clears his name, or will his words and the strategies of his lawyers only tighten the noose around him? The third thing to watch closely today is the evidence brought forward by the FBI. From the start of this investigation, whispers of hidden items, digital trails, and secret communications have lingered in the air. These whispers may now become reality inside the courtroom. The FBI has hinted at discoveries within the Harrow home, disturbing items that raise questions no parent should ever face. Were they signs of planning, evidence of neglect, or chilling proof of something much darker? Today, those objects may finally be revealed, laid out piece by piece before judge and jury. But evidence is never just about what is found. It is about what it means. A single item can sway an entire courtroom if its story is undeniable. A photograph, a digital message, a piece of clothing, each has the power to pierce through doubt and silence. Yet the defense will not sit quietly. They will question chain of custody, they will argue coincidence, and they will challenge whether any of it directly ties to Jake Haro. The tension lies in this: will the evidence serve as the breakthrough that tips the scale toward justice for baby Emmanuel, or will it dissolve under scrutiny, leaving more questions than answers? And if the FBI unveils the full extent of what they've uncovered, the atmosphere in that courtroom could shift instantly, from quiet anticipation to shock, outrage, and a demand for accountability. Today, the evidence may not just speak, it may scream. The fourth thing to watch today is the jury, the silent power sitting just feet away from the accused. They do not speak. They do not ask questions. Yet their presence dominates the courtroom more than anyone else. 12 ordinary citizens, handpicked from the community, now carry the extraordinary weight of deciding truth in a case that has captured the world's attention. Every sigh, every shifting glance, every stroke of a pen as they jot down notes, all of it carries meaning. Behind their still faces, their minds are at war, weighing facts against emotions, testimony against suspicion, evidence against doubt. The prosecution knows this. That is why they will press Rebecca's statement hard, weaving her words into a narrative of betrayal and tragedy. They will lean on the FBI's evidence, urging the jury to see not just objects and reports, but a story of guilt that leads back to Jake. But the defense also knows the fragility of human perception. They will remind the jury that emotion can cloud judgment, that a mother's tears do not equal truth, and that doubt, even the smallest seed, is enough to unravel the prosecution's case. This is the battlefield within the courtroom. Not the witnesses, not the lawyers, not even Jake himself. The real battle is for the hearts and minds of the jury. And as the hours pass, the jurors' silence becomes its own kind of voice, measured, calculating, heavy with consequence. They may not show it, but with each word spoken before them, the scales of justice shift ever so slightly. By the time the gavel falls, their verdict will not just decide the fate of Jake Haro, it may determine whether baby Emmanuel's story is remembered as a tragedy without justice, or a mystery finally brought to light. The fifth and final thing to watch today is the fate of baby Emmanuel, and the eyes of the public fixed on this trial. At the center of all the legal arguments, behind the statements and strategies, stands one haunting question: what really happened to Emmanuel Haro? For many, this case is no longer just about Rebecca or Jake. It is about an innocent child whose cries have been silenced, whose story remains unfinished, and whose absence has left a wound on an entire community. Emmanuel has become more than a name. He is a symbol of the justice that people are crying out for. Beyond the walls of the courtroom, the world is watching. Reporters line the steps. Cameras wait to capture every reaction. Social media burns with debates, theories, and outrage. Some believe Rebecca's words will finally crack the case. Others insist the FBI's evidence will reveal the truth. And many still wonder if the full story will ever come to light. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere is different, but no less intense. Every person seated there carries the weight of public expectation. The judge knows the world is listening. The jury feels the burden of their decision, and even the Harrow family themselves cannot escape the truth that millions are demanding answers. Today may not bring the final verdict, but it may bring us closer than ever to understanding Emmanuel's fate. And when that truth is revealed, whether in whispers or in shocking revelations, the public will not look away. Because for them, this case is not just another headline. It is the desperate search for justice for a child who never had a chance to speak for himself. As the gavel falls today, the courtroom will not just echo with legal arguments, it will echo with the weight of 5 critical questions. Rebecca Haro's shocking statement, Jake's defense strategy, the FBI's disturbing evidence, the silent judgment of the jury, and above all, the fate of baby Emmanuel. Each of these threads weaves together into a story of heartbreak, betrayal, and the desperate search for truth. Yet as powerful as the lawyers may argue, and as loud as the headlines may shout, the answers still rest within the cold walls of the courtroom. The world waits with bated breath. Will Rebecca's voice be enough to shift the balance? Will Jake's defense unravel or stand firm? Will the FBI's evidence pierce through the silence? And will the jury see through the shadows to deliver justice? One thing is certain, whatever unfolds today will shape how this story is remembered. For some, it will be a step toward healing. For others, it will raise even deeper questions. But for all, it is a reminder of the fragile line between innocence and guilt, between secrecy and truth, between justice served and justice denied. The Emmanuel Haro case is not just another trial. It is a story that has gripped hearts, stirred outrage, and demanded answers. And as the doors of the courtroom close tonight, one question will remain: are we any closer to the truth? What do you think? Will today's revelations bring us closer to justice for Emmanuel, or will the mystery only deepen? Share your thoughts, join the conversation, and stay with us as we continue to follow every moment of this case. Because justice may be delayed, but it cannot and must not be denied.